Hello everybody out there on the internet who loves miniatures. I'm Doc Eon. It's another Monday, so I'm here to ramble. Specifically, it's Monday the 5th of October 2020. And we're starting out with Reaper miniatures. And, well, before we start out, I want to apologize in advance for the lighting. It's going to be in the early parts of this episode because it's a dark and stormy night outside, or, well, overcast and rainy day at least. Which means there's no natural light, and I'm going to have to make do with the lighting I can make happen right here in the room, the indoor lighting. So we're starting out with Reaper miniatures, and we have the remaining 4 pirates out of the group that I started a couple of weeks back. We have one guy with a parrot on his shoulder here. And I painted him with kind of a drab coat to offset the colorful parrot. And then to compensate again, I went with the really bright red pants. And also his dull black hat. This lady pirate has a treasure map where X marks the spot with some of my atrocious freehand to make that happen. Let's see, you can see it here. And of course nothing on the back. And she's rather brightly colored. This guy I went with kind of a mustard yellow coat, because I like my pirates bright and colorful, generally speaking. If they're like captains, like most of these, at least these first 3 seem like they would be at least officers, if not captains, of their own ships. And historically, they tend to wear the best and brightest clothing they could find, whereas the ordinary crewmen perhaps did not have the pick of the stuff. Here we have the pirate who's drunk at the wheel. His monkey here is probably steering. He's just hanging on for dear life, and he's got this jar of grog with some spilling out there. That's funny. And finally, from the Reaper section, we have Tarbaphon, the Whispering Tyrant from Pathfinder, on a resin scenic base that is also from Reaper. The model is from the Pathfinder series by Reaper. I didn't paint him exactly like in the artwork. In the artwork, he's much darker overall. Like kind of a blackish skin and just like a gray, dull gray purple robe. But I thought that's gonna look really bad on a miniature. So my inspiration for the color scheme here is actually Zycon from the Order of the Stick, who wears a dark navy robe and a rather bright red cloak. And yeah. You'll see him in the still pics. And that was the Reaper stuff. So I also completed these 4 very cartoonish humanoid ducks from Star Hat Miniatures. Turns out the sculpts are kind of rough. They're lacking in detail in a lot of places, and they've gone for, you know, broad strokes and comedic effect rather than intricate realistic detail. So, you know, that's how I painted them as well. So we've got, and there's a lot of, I haven't managed to kill the shine here, but that's okay. Here we have a guy with a sort of rapier and a throwing knife. We have the Robin Hood duck, who I've painted mostly in shades of green and brown, as befits a woods duck. We have the sort of scholar adventurer duck, whose sword is sheathed. He's smoking a pipe. He's got a satchel over his shoulder, and I'm not sure. Hopefully it comes across that he's wearing. He has kind of white feathers, but also is kind of a white shirt. But I painted them different whites, so there's a cool white for his feathers and or skin, and a more slightly warmer, more dingy, more grayish, more grungy white, kind of a dirty white for the shirt. hopefully you can see the difference. And here's the Scottish duck. Now, my freehand, as you know, absolutely sucks. I'm atrocious at it, so I always dread painting tartan. Again, so I did a green-blue tartan on the cap and a sort of red-green on his main tunic, and a black cloak over his shoulder. As long as you look at it at a distance, I think it comes across okay. It's not terribly detailed, but then again, neither are these miniatures. So, 9 finished this week. That's getting up there. But of course, this is because a lot of the stuff I finished this week was kind of half finished already last week. Anyway, let's move on to works in progress. So work continues on these figures, or rather has started on these figures. Not much, a bit of metallic work, and you can start to see that his axe is actually also a guitar. It has a fretboard and it has, yeah, which is kind of amusing. This little guy, some sort of sneaky guy with daggers. And this guy is possibly some sort of cleric or something because he's fully armored in plate armor, but he has a kind of a rod and a book and shield on his back. Probably a cleric. Now it might seem I've done nothing on this lich. I can't pronounce his name. The Egyptian lich, we'll call him. But, you know, last week he was already in some gold, but that was just an undercoat or base coat of gold. Now I am pretty much done with the gold, I think. I'm going to move on to the other metallics, the silver and the... I want some blue metallic, or rather blue gemstone effects on certain things. It's going to be kind of a Thousand Suns color scheme, blue and gold. Yeah, that's the plan. So, yeah, what else have I got prepped?
Next project's prepped. Well, we have the Frog Hemoth, who has been primed and given a very light base coat of this green color with the airbrush, and then I've gone in with some darker colors to sort of start shading it a little bit. The half works have been started. It's just basic primer, zenithal, and basic shade and some undercoats, especially on the parts that are going to be metallic. Just setting it up. I like these. They're very characterful. And yeah, just normal paint jobs, no difficulties anticipated.
So yet another week with no new stuff in the inbox. I'm a little worried because there's a lot of stuff on its way to me. I'm worried it might just all arrive in the same week. It'll be a real info dump, that episode. But in the meantime, I am going to start up some new projects based on stuff I already have. And because we are into October properly now, it's time to start up some Halloween themed things. These are all Reapers minis. We have the Halloween tree, which I'm not sure what's so Halloween about it. It looks kind of spooky, of course. But anyway, we have the Halloween Sophie, the 2009 AC. Not sure what AC stands for. It's probably some event. Anyway, you can tell that it's Sophie sitting on a pumpkin and the wings are separate. You glue them on, and then there's a cauldron with some sort of mist coming up out of it. So it's a sort of a combination succubus and witch thing going on here. Not sure if I want to put this... Well, it's pretty small. I can put the whole thing, Sophie and the Cauldron, on one large base, or I can build 2 small bases out of it. We'll see what I do. And then there's these guys, and I got these, if I recall correctly, in the promotion bag, the so-called ghoulie bag. Last year, when I placed an order during October, and I didn't have time to paint them then. These are some classic movie monsters in chibi form and in Reaper Bones. So we have Chibi Dracula and Chibi Creature from the Black Lagoon. And so, yeah, I don't have much experience painting chibis. I painted the ones from... I don't recall, was it Bones 3 or 4? Was it the latest Bones? One of the earliest projects from Bones 4, the core set, I think maybe were some... Yes, it was. It was some chibi miniatures, but they were dungeon delvers, and they were like quite a bit larger than these guys. These are an older casts, older sculpts. But, yeah, we'll see. We'll start them up and see where we go from there. So, that brings us to the conclusion of this episode. And the conclusion, as always, is me asking you to like, subscribe, share, comment, and above all, be back here next week, same day of the week, same channel, same Dakiyan, who is now signing off.